So for those of you who like numbers like me, I like to find out exactly where is that galactic center. But today in 2022, 27 degrees Sagittarius, 9 minutes full. But what is the galactic center? I mean, you have these astronomers, researchers, and scientists from around the world. Until they have proof positive, they weren't going to say what it was. So we're just accepting it as already done. But imagine until 2022, they didn't have a clear image of what the galactic center exactly was. They had hypotheses that were strong, but it truly, according to the science, it's a massive object, a supermassive black hole, and they call it Sagittarius A. So if you follow the blue arrow, you can see in the center of the Milky Way galaxy, that is the galactic center. And if you like to think in terms of years, think 26,000 light years away from Earth. So as I talk about galactic consciousness, this is a whole other modality of thinking in terms of years, many years, thousands of years, even billions of years. It's a different way to hold space and time. But again, I think that's part of our galactic awareness growing in. So you can see there's a lot of cloud gas around this center. One theory says that the black hole has a mass. This is like mass that is 4.3 million times that of our sun. So that little image I have down of the sun, take that and multiply it by 4.3 million, and you'll get the mass of what they hypothesize is the galactic center. And another number, just the diameter of the galactic center, 14.6 million miles. This was the first image captured by what they call the Event Horizon Telescope. What they did was they brought in 8 radio broadcasting images to create a focal point of like an Earth telescope trying to shoot a picture of the galactic center. The speed of the cosmic dust around the center just did not allow them to actually see what was at the center. They saw something lurking, but that black hole in the middle of the donut was very evasive. On the right-hand picture, you're seeing a close-up of the galactic center. And do you see how fuzzy it is? It's fuzzy, that blue fuzzy gray, because there's so much dust. And Julia and I have indicated where in the Sagittarius constellation, Sagittarius A is for the galactic center. But when we talk about metaphysical or esoteric wisdom sharing, we, with our lens of the esoteric, we look at the galactic center as a transmitter of divine consciousness. So when we talk with Julia and we learn from her, she's going to share how a natal soul connection can help support humanity and evolve into our expanded consciousness. And so many of you know that the sign of Sagittarius, that's the centaur, aiming high, the theme of evolution and expansion. It sits within the metaphor of the galactic center.
I believe from the research and also what is mentioned in the class, that whenever we have solar winter, our sun is also going through its own cycles when it's very active, hyperactive, but when it's not as active, and we call that solar winter, these particles from the galactic center are able to penetrate our atmosphere much more and affect our consciousness. The last solar winter we had was in 2019, and I believe we are heading into one again. And just one more thing I want to add about it. I believe it is said by astronomers that closest to the galactic center, there are many red supergiant star systems, which are considered to be the most ancient, the oldest star system. So there is a lot of ancient wisdom coming in from the center. And metaphorically, many would consider galactic center to be the great mother or source of the great mother, divine mother's consciousness. And we are an echo of, we are the holograms of all that is. So we can technically access divine feminine or divine masculine, or this creator, original consciousness in any way, from any point, by focusing on anything. So it's just really about permission slips. Different things work for different people at different stage of their consciousness, of their evolution, right?
What does it mean to have the Galactic Center when it's in one of the 5 aspects? In particular, I would have liked to have asked you too around, what if your origin was, it was like so clear. You have a conjunction to the Galactic Center with Pluto.
I would like you all to have a look at your own natal chart and see where 27, in around 27 degrees of Sagittarius is sitting in your chart, regardless if there are any planets or asteroids next to it. And remember, with Galactic Center as a point of mighty magnetic force, we can work with orb of influence of 5, even up to 10 degrees, because unconsciously, that point in your chart will be the place where you can reach higher potential for embodying higher consciousness of divine mother, father, unified, that higher wisdom, deep, profound wisdom. You can embody it in that life area based on the house it's sitting on. If it's kind of on the cusp and it's in between the 2 houses and the orb of influence spans over 2 houses, then it will be a little bit of both. So reflect on that. It's more of an unconscious influence rather than you being consciously aware of it until you learn this now, and then you can start actually consciously paying attention to that inner soul calling for you to be your best in that particular area of your life. If there is a planet also next to it, sometimes more than one planet or an asteroid, then those planets and asteroids, their power, their influence will be magnified because of Galactic Center at the backdrop of them, coming through them. And the same applies for the points like the Ascendant, Midheaven, IC, or the relationships cusp. So conjunction works like that, where higher wisdom is easy to be embodied. It's already integrated, and it kind of comes from inside out, whether it's through the planet or through any of the points, through your own being, through your own consciousness. You can tap into it very easily and express it easily if you have an opposition. So you look where 27 is in your chart, and then look at the opposing point. So in around 27 degrees of Gemini, right? See where that is in your chart. See if you have any planets there or any of the cardinal points. Take time to think about, reflect on how easy or not easy was it and is it for you to embody and express divine wisdom there. It's likely that because it's opposition, especially in your earlier years, certainly before your first Saturn return, which is in around 27 to 29 years old, it's likely that you were not really able to express higher wisdom there. With the opposition, it probably wasn't easy for you, but now, past 30 years old, it seems to you're finding this beautiful dance between when you do express higher wisdom in that area where Gemini 27 sits in your house. So you know how to dance between, observing how the frequency of consciousness of your immediate environment in that area, when to speak higher truth, higher wisdom, and when it's just not relevant because it would fall on flat ears. Trine, sextile, squares, even oppositions, they are not as obvious in terms of how they manifest in our lives as the conjunctions would be. But still, nonetheless, they are there once you pay closer attention. So in your chart, trine would be 4 signs in both directions from Sagittarius. Do you have any planets or any important points at 27 of Aries or Leo? And remember, 5 to 10 degrees, or the closer the orb, the stronger the influence and manifestation will be. So if those points are trining your galactic center, it just comes like an inner gift, something that you have used as a soul in previous incarnations. It's just natural for you to use it, and it comes at certain points where you need to express it. It's just how to apply that higher wisdom in those areas of your life where the houses are for your Aries and Leo. Sextiles, you can count 2 signs from Sagittarius. So look at where 27 degrees of Aquarius is in your chart and Libra. Here are areas of life, and certainly perhaps through the planets, if you have any there, where you are quite fortunate. You can experience blessings and synchronicities where it almost feels like a touch of heaven, like angels looked after you, and you manifest good fortune, good luck in those areas, and certainly in points when you are choosing higher wisdom, higher principles, integrity. When you're embodying those, then those sextiles will reward you in a powerful way. And if you look at the squares, you need to count 3 signs in each direction. So that's Pisces in around 27 degrees or Virgo. If you do, reflect on your life experiences. Is it so that you found it quite difficult to hold higher consciousness and embody it and express it? And whenever you did, was there a lot of friction, especially inside your being, because of the outside reactions? It's likely that in those areas, perhaps you really struggled to hold that because there was either a lot of suffering in the Pisces houses or too much structure in the Virgo houses. Whatever was there in terms of the immediate environment, it was really challenging for you to hold that higher wisdom, but you really wanted to. You felt it, it was available to you, but you didn't know how to express it, how to embody it. Those squares now are calling you to find a compromise between you being aware of the availability of higher potentials and compromise between what level of consciousness is present in those life areas where you have 27 Pisces and 27 Virgo. Pluto or Neptune or Uranus conjuncting or even opposing Galactic Center, you can feel and sense how ancient their and wise their soul is, and whatever they do in life, it is somehow guiding them to have an impact and influence on the entire collective. So if they go through challenges in life, somehow they're making more powerful imprints on the collective, making it easier for them to make shifts and changes, especially with Pluto. Then through those that have Neptune conjuncting Galactic Center, they just somehow are able to tap to higher guidance more naturally, even from earlier on, from a young age. And those that have Uranus conjuncting Galactic Center, they will feel extra passionate about bringing changes wherever something is of old structure that is not serving, that is stagnant and kind of causing pain. But I would say that those perhaps that have Galactic Center to the outer planets, it's likely that they may have been involved with collective evolution, whether on Earth or other star systems, in physical form, in human form, many times. Like they've been down here many times. And perhaps those that have it aligned more towards the ascendant, sun, moon, maybe they are not as savvy to be in a human form, and perhaps it's harder for them to adjust because their experience as a soul is more from a non-physical